Today's episode is sponsored by Craftsy. Whether you're new to making or looking to advance skills in a favorite hobby, Craftsy is the place to learn. With over 1,500 classes, there's something for everyone, from knitting and sewing to baking and cooking, gardening, embroidery, quilting, and more. Visit CraftsyOffers.com today and get a full year of Craftsy premium membership for just $3. That's 97% off the regular price. Start turning ideas into projects you can be proud of. Thank you so much, Craftsy. And now, here's the show. Welcome to episode 194 of the Craft Industry Alliance podcast. I'm Abby Glassenberg. Craft Industry Alliance is a community for craft professionals where you can strengthen your creative business, stay up to date on industry news, and build connections within our supportive trade association. Check it out at craftindustyalliance.org. Today on the show, we are talking about building brand collaborations with my guest, Tisa Jackson. Tisa is the colorful brains behind This is Tisa. She's a stationery designer and DIY craft content creator and workshop instructor. She's inspired by color and has a passion for bright, colorful, happy designs and DIY projects. Tisa has collaborated with brands such as HP, Michaels, Cricut, Beacon, and Silhouette. Visit her blog and you will come away learning quick and easy crafts, even if you don't consider yourself a crafter. Tisa Jackson, welcome.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Thank you.
I love your bio too. And I also just love visiting your blog and your Instagram because your aesthetic is so warm and bright and just full of rainbows. And it always makes me smile. So I'm very excited to talk with you and learn more about your crafty career. So let's just kind of dial things back a little bit and start with where did you grow up? I know you live in Texas now.
Yes. So I've always lived in Texas. So I was born near Dallas and not stayed in the same area, but all along Dallas. And then when I was probably about 8 or 10, we moved to Austin. And I graduated high school from Austin, and now I'm close to Austin. I'm not in Austin, but I am still close to Austin.
Nice. And I have not been to Austin, but I have several friends who live there. How is the kind of arts scene, obviously prior to COVID, in normal times? Now, no.
COVID, there's different art shows. You can walk up and down different streets downtown and just buy from local makers, and it's just so awesome. Yeah. I love that about Austin. So
yeah, I'm hoping to get there sometime soon because I hear great things about it. It seems like such a fun city. Mm-hmm. Okay, so when you were growing up, first, were you always kind of a maker or somebody who did creative projects, or did that kind of come to you later in life?
I think I've always just loved art. Like, I can't say that I was a great student, but I was an amazing art student, right? So art would, like, every day when I had art class, I just shined. And I used to always, I just remember this one project. I used to always just try to go above and beyond. And we had this one project and we had to make a 3D project out of cardboard. And I think this was like maybe 6th grade. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make an ice cream cone. So I'm doing my layers and all that. And then at the end, I start ripping the cardboard where the cone is. And the teacher's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, a cone has ridges, right? Like, there's ridges in here. And she was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're ripping that. And I'm like, it's 3D. And I think it won a contest or something, but I've always tried to think outside the box and make things look realistic. I really thought I was going to be an artist when I was younger.
Mm-hmm. And I also think that speaks so much to the importance of having art classes in school.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because it sounds like that was your favorite, your favorite subject. So yeah.
Yeah. History, reading. Yeah. I'm like, no, I don't want to do any of that. I'm showing my age. When I was young, one of the subjects we had to take was handwriting. and we had to learn cursive. And that was my second favorite class.
That's so funny. Yeah. So doing like the lettering and like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's so funny. So,
Yeah.
are you good at cursive now? Do you have good handwriting?
Oh yeah, and my daughter, she's just like, I can't understand cursive at all. Mom, please don't write in cursive. And I'm like, no, it's like so fast and easy, and mine is usually pretty neat. So I still love writing in cursive.
Yeah. Gosh, they don't teach cursive, at least not where we
Mm-mm,
are anymore.
no.
Yeah. Yeah. And did you have home ec in school when you were growing up or no?
Yeah, we did. I even had like typing, but we had home ec. Like we used to learn how to sew outfits and things like that, and make a bed and keep a house, and it was crazy things no one teaches that kind of stuff anymore.
I
So
know. But again, I love those classes. So, I
mhm,
hope they
mhm.
come back. But okay. So you loved art, and you thought maybe you would become an artist. And what ended up happening as far as, first steps in like career and sort of after high school?
So I went to college, didn't finish, and then I start working for a manufacturing company here in Austin, and and I was with that company for a long time, and I had a mentor that offered to pay for a year of art classes for me because I didn't make a lot of money, and I was just like, wait, what? And so this guy and his wife gifted me for my birthday a year of art classes at this local art school. And I did it. I did it, and then I loved it. I was painting every week, and then one day my neighbor was just like, "Hey, I'm teaching a card class. Do you want to come over?" And I'm like, "A card class?" And she said, "Yeah, we're gonna make handmade cards." And I was like, "Oh, okay, girl, I'll come over. I'll support you." And so I went over, and I was just like, "Wait a minute, I can make a card in 5 minutes? Like it takes me weeks to finish a painting. Like what?" And so, and then she had another one, and I went again. And then I ended up being an instructor for, I don't know if they're even still around, but it was a hand stamping type company. And
Hmm.
I ended up becoming an instructor so I can get the discount so I can buy all the things.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. And I agree with you that one of the lovely things about making cards is that, it's like a tiny piece of ephemeral art. You know, you make it, you
Hmm.
give it away, the person enjoys it, they can keep it, they can throw it away, but it's like art, but like almost abbreviated, and it's so
Right.
satisfying. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, totally. Okay,
So,
so that was a lovely gift, by the way, that your mentor gave you.
oh,
That is so
amazing.
nice. Yeah.
Amazing. And I was working for someone who was just stressed me out so much. So even like going home and making these cards just to kind of get some of that stress out because my kids were little. And so I was just like, yeah, I want to make cards. And so what happened, my business kind of happened by accident. People start asking me to, can you make me 12 holiday cards I can send my friends and family? And I'm like, really? You want me to make you cards? And that's how it all started. I started to
Wow.
go to craft markets, like at my kids' schools. They would have like fall fest, and I would, set up there my little table, and I would sell all these cards.
Wow, that's so fun.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So like this sort of chance encounter with a neighbor combined with these like adult art classes. And so,
yeah.
yeah, okay. And so did you start a blog or like an online presence right away, or were you kind of doing this, locally and for friends and family for a while before then?
Yeah, absolutely not. I think I signed on with Etsy, but I never really put anything on there. And when I did put things on there, they really didn't sell. And so I did sell at markets a lot. And really in the fall, that would be my really busy season. And then I was just like, hey, well, maybe my customers want a little bit more than cards. And so I started making different things like, I don't know, clipboards and bookmarks and these different things, and they would sell, and I'm like, oh my gosh, people really love my stuff. Okay. I think we can do something with this. So
And
yeah.
did you get I know you really enjoy and are very expert at using a cutting machine like a Cricut, for example, or
Hmm.
Silhouette. Did you get
Hmm.
one of those back then, or was that later as well?
No, no, I used to hand cut every
Okay.
little piece of paper or use my paper cutter, which I still love my paper cutters, but I do have the machines now, and it makes it a lot easier.
Okay. And so you were selling for a long time locally.
Hmm.
And then did you get onto like Instagram? Was that the first step, or was a blog the first step for sort of
I think
introducing online?
my first step was Facebook,
Okay.
and then a blog, which I didn't really know what I was doing. My friend was just like, "Girl, we should start a blog," and I'm like, "What is a blog?" And she was like, "Let's go to this blog conference. You can learn all about it." And so I was like, "Okay." So we get on a plane, we go to Salt Lake City, and I go to my first blogging conference. I was so overwhelmed. I did not realize, I'm like, these people really make money doing this. This is crazy. And so I started my little blog, and it's been fun. I didn't know people would follow all of these blogs, and I was just like, oh my gosh, people really want to know like how to do crafts. Okay, this is a way to kind of teach people what I do or show people what I do. And so that's how the blog started.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's like a whole world when you discover it that you don't realize is there.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know? Yeah. So
Yeah.
going to that conference was probably, I mean, you're like jumping into deep water when you do something like that because you're being introduced to the entire, sort of scope of blogging and craft blogging all at once versus
I
like,
had
yeah,
I
versus
had
like
no
reading a
idea
few.
I was
Yeah.
gonna,
Yeah.
what is happening? But it ended up being a conference that I, before COVID, would attend every single year. I've met amazing people. I've met some of my best blogging friends from that conference. So yeah,
What do you know what conference? What can you say what conference it is?
yeah, it's Snap
Oh,
Conference.
Snap. Yeah, that's great. And the nice thing too about Snap is it's got almost a focus on brand collaborations for bloggers as well. So
Yes, yes.
that's like one of the main ways that bloggers can make money. I mean,
Hmm.
there's multiple ways. So you were probably introduced to that idea pretty early into your journey as a blogger.
Yes, yes. And didn't really take it serious. Like, I was just like, well, I sell these cards. This is what I do. This is how I make my money. And one day I got an invitation to an HP event. And I'm like, wait, what is this? And it was in San Diego, and it was amazing. Like, you pay this little fee, but you go to this resort and you do all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'll go. And I knew, I think I knew about three or four girls there. And one invited me. And so I called her. I'm like, hey, is this legit? And she's like, yeah. And so I was like, okay, I'll go. I went and didn't really just, did the event, had a great time, met all the bloggers who were teaching classes there and everything. And then a few weeks later, I get an invitation to become a part of this HP print team. And I'm like, wait, what? What is this? And that was my first partnership. And I have to say that it was because I met these people at this conference, this person, and then she introduced me to HP and that team. And I just did not even know these people were even looking at me at all.
Yeah. And so to me, that really speaks to the value too of going to craft conferences and
Mhm.
getting out there, doing a little bit of networking, even if you feel like it's out of your comfort zone or, you're brand new and everybody else is so experienced because through those connections, that's how you end up with these new opportunities. So yeah, I think that's really important to hear. So what did you actually do as part of the sort of design team for HP? Like what were the tasks?
Hmm. So it was a great partnership, right? Because I signed a contract. So usually, if I work with brands, there might be like 1 month I might work for them, and then a few months I don't, and then they'll come back again and ask me to do more work. But this was like every month, and I'm like, yes. So it was working with it. The team was called My Printly, and we would create craft projects using their printers. So I would design something, print it out, and then craft with whatever I designed.
Wow.
And so it was it was really awesome.
Yeah. And the great thing about that, to me, it sounds like it was really open ended. Like you were able to come up with the parameters of the project. And I mean, basically using a printer is the most open ended thing, right? It can be any kind of imagery or project that you
Oh,
want.
absolutely. I made anything from like planner covers that I laminated to like I used the printer to print onto iron-on where I would make napkins. Like it was just so it was amazing.
Yeah.
And from there, I mean, being on with that team, I learned how to do video and take photos. Like
Mm.
we would get together once a year and they would give us classes. And I remember they brought in a photographer to kind of give us, tips and tricks on taking photos. And so that's been so helpful for me. So,
Right. That's great that
mhm,
they have kind of like instruction as part
mhm.
of it. And so were you posting these final projects like on your own YouTube or on your own site? Or were you
But,
giving it
so,
to them to post?
I was turning it in to them to post. And sadly, my print lane is no longer around, but, that was just an amazing, amazing
Mm.
opportunity. And
Yeah.
I tell people all the time because people always ask me, like, how do you work with these brands? And I feel like, and I didn't know this at the beginning, but someone is always watching you. It could be a brand. Someone could follow you on Instagram, and they're just using not their company name, but their personal name, and they will just watch you for a little bit. And brands will seek out, people to partner with that way.
Mm-hmm. That's so important to realize as a business owner. And sometimes that can feel a little bit too high pressure or just a little bit strange, to think, oh, somebody's watching you. But, you have to sort of in some ways like separate your business persona from your personal persona, and just
Yeah.
realize like it's not you, it's just one aspect of you. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They're watching. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's super cool. Okay. So, and it sounds like that was a great learning experience, just sort of seeing how all of this
Absolutely.
operated and the ins and outs. Okay. And so did you got into Instagram, I'm assuming sort of from that or,
Yes, yes.
okay.
And so Instagram was very, very slow for me at the beginning. I think just in this last year and a half, Instagram has blown up a lot for me. And I think it was because at first I would never show my face on camera. I would never speak on camera or anything like that. And then one day I said, I'm going to do a stories and I'm just going to get on Instagram story and I'm just going to see what happens. And I just get on Instagram story and then, my feed is beautiful. Everything's like lined up and all that. But if you join me on stories, like I'm like, look at my messy craft room, or, oh my gosh, I made a mistake, or I'm up in the middle of the night making tea. Like it's like normal life for me. And I think people really appreciate that I am very genuine and I will tell someone when I made a mistake. I will own up to it. Or I would say, yeah, that craft room picture is so beautiful, but this is what it really looks like today. And people like, oh my gosh, I love that. My craft room looks just like that. So I really like that.
Yeah, it sounds to me like Instagram almost has like two sides of a coin
Mhm.
for you. Like
Yep.
your feed is, as you said, super curated. It's got that bright white aesthetic with the rainbow that we were talking about earlier. Your
Mhm.
photos are just super polished and so nice. And I have watched your
Great.
stories and they're definitely very real. Yeah, it's unpolished, unvarnished you just talking about what's happening today in your life and what you need to work on and all these different
Yes.
things. And so I think that that is a really interesting way to frame it for people to think,
Mhm.
well, how do I use these two different aspects of the app?
Mhm.
You know?
And I think a lot of the times I'll show like I have this craft room, but I don't really have a lot of space to package orders. So if my entry is full of cups and I show that on stories, people are like, oh my gosh, Tisa, that is amazing. So I think when people start seeing a little bit, they want to see you, the true you, but they also want to see, I think, a little bit behind the scenes. Like, do I sit on the floor and work sometimes? Absolutely. Like, just like any other crafter. Like I don't sit in my beautiful craft room and everything's put together because you have to bring things out to work, right? So I think they really enjoy that.
Yeah, that is really true. And so you now have 25,000, more than 25,000 followers on Instagram, which is super impressive. And do
Okay.
you think that that has led to some of your brand collaborations, just having that larger following and having the beautiful, very sort of tied together, photograph style? Has that, do you think
I
people have contacted you that way?
um I I personally think that you don't have to have a large following for a brand to contact you. I mean, there's so many smaller brands that will contact people with less than 10,000 followers. I think it certainly helps. But Instagram will show my post to some people and not some people. And so while I love that number, I wish more people were, seeing my content. So
Mm-hmm.
what I did was I figured out that if I do a short little video and put it into Reels, I found that more people are seeing that content than just a post or even my Instagram story.
Mm.
And I feel like my Instagram story is like I'm just talking to people who already follow me, right? I'm just like, keeping those people around, keeping those people in the know. But I think Reels kind of brings in people that I don't know. Like
Mm-hmm.
I believe people see those videos that I have no idea, they currently don't follow me.
Right.
So I'm still learning Instagram and the the ways around it. And I just, I listen a lot. I listen to different bloggers and business people. And so Reels right now is the thing that I'm trying to do a lot more of and
Yeah.
just be creative with it. So
I'd like to take a minute now to talk about our sponsor, Craftsy. And here is a message from Craftsy. At Craftsy, we know making. Whether you are new to the handmade life or looking to advance your skills, we have classes for all maker levels and interests. From knitting and sewing to quilting and embroidery, cooking, baking, paper crafts, and more. Craftsy's instructors guide and encourage you, empowering you to turn ideas into realities. And they have an exclusive offer for Craft Industry Alliance podcast listeners. Right now, you can get a whole year of their premium membership for only $3. Visit craftseoffers.com to sign up, and the discount will automatically be applied at checkout. For only $3, you'll get a full year of access to over 1,500 premium full-length classes. It can be challenging to know where to go to learn new things, especially when you're an absolute beginner. Craftsy's instructors help build strong foundations as they teach, setting you up for success and helping you fix mistakes as you go. Their enthusiasm and strong teaching style make learning accessible to all. If you're an experienced maker and looking for new challenges and fresh projects, Craftsy is for you too. From perfecting your fondant skills to tackling complex stitches, from eye-catching garden design to next steps in sourdough, Craftsy has advanced classes in all crafts from instructors who are experts in their field. With over 1,500 classes, including downloadable patterns and recipes, Craftsy has a class and a craft for everyone. So visit craftseoffers.com today and get a year of Craftsy premium membership for just $3. That's 97% off the regular price. Start turning ideas into projects you can be proud of. Get this exclusive offer at craftseoffers.com. Thank you so much, Craftsy. And now back to my conversation with Tisa. Right. And they get a lot of engagement. So, so it's worth sort of figuring out. Can you just tell us briefly about like a reel or two that you've created that has performed well?
Well, I did one with, I just made these little hearts on, I got my Cricut and I cut out all these little glitter hearts red glitter. And then I just got my little Xyron sticker maker, and I put all the hearts. And this is just the handheld one, not the big machine. It's like, I don't know, $7. And I just put the hearts in there and made them stickers, and then put them on the bottom of Hershey Kisses. And I'm like, and it was like so short, so quick, and people loved it. And I'm like, wait, what? And it was just, and then you can even do that with a hole punch. You don't even have to have
Right.
a cricket or anything like that. You can do circles, you can do whatever. And I think the when people see, oh yeah, I can go and get me a bag of Hershey Kisses and a piece of paper, and I can do that. And it was my highest viewed reels ever.
I love it because it's so simple and accessible. And I think a lot of times we make these things out to be like so incredibly complex. Like it has, in order to be worthwhile of doing a video about it, it has to be like some, hidden secret or like a big complicated idea that nobody would really know and is not obvious. Right. And listen, putting a heart on the bottom of a Hershey Kiss, that's obvious, but it's not obvious to like the average consumer. And it takes somebody creative to be able, with some vision to be able to sort of see, oh, this would be cute. Like, let's try it,
Right. So now with the reels, I try, like, if I'm doing a video on, like I did a video with, I made some planters, and then I'm like, okay, what song do I use? And so this is probably not the best grade. I don't know. This might not be the best advice, but I just think of, like, I always try to search for a song that matches what I'm doing.
Oh, sure.
So I think the song, and I didn't even know the song. It was said something about growing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. And so instead of using the popular songs, which is what you're supposed to do, I like to be creative with the songs. There's a song on there that I love. It's called Colors. And it's just like, I might be green, I might be purple, I might be black. I love it. Saying all the colors. And I like that song too. And I just kind of place it if I'm using a whole bunch of colors or whatever.
Yeah. That's awesome. Again, it's like, I think the process of creating these can be creative in and of itself. So, like choosing the music and cutting it and clipping it all together. So that's great. I think that's great advice. And so, okay. So you've had some other like really wonderful partnerships, and I would love to talk a little bit about some of the other ones that you have done. We mentioned a few in the intro. And so we talked about the HP one, but you've also worked with, I know right now you've been working most recently with Beacon Adhesives.
Oh, I love Beacon. Yes. and it's a great relationship because I went to a conference, and see, this is the thing, like, before COVID, I think it was a little bit easier, right? So I went to a conference, and I met I think she's the marketing person of Beacon. We sat on a panel together, and I was able to meet her grandfather who started Beacon, and her grandmother, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And they were there, and they were winning an award. And so then I reached out to her. I guess it was the end of last year, October of last year. And I just said, hey, I'm looking for work. I just was very blunt about it. And she goes, okay. And I said, is there anything, do you have something coming up for the holidays? And she said, absolutely. Let me put you in contact with the person who's in charge of that. And they had me do one post. And then they came back and said, hey, do you want to work with us next year? And I said, absolutely. And so I think it's really important, like, when you go to those conferences, like, I get very nervous when I go to conferences. I'm very talkative, but I'm very talkative, like, when I get to know you, right?
Yeah.
It's really hard for me to, like, just walk up to someone and talk. And so you get very nervous, but when you kind of open up just a little bit and meet these people, you don't have to, like, form a relationship right then and there, sign a contract, whatever, get work right then and there, but, like, put it in your back pocket, because later they might have something they need you to work on. And so that's just how I've always just kind of, approached my I don't know, partnerships.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think also that follow up was really important. So
Hmm.
you met her, you met members of the family and
Hmm.
had that nice experience. But then, later you weren't shy to follow up via email and say, I'm available to work and, present them with some creative ideas and also do a really good job delivering, which is probably why they decided to keep you on. But that follow up piece is really important, I think, and one that sometimes people forget to do or just feel shy about, and you should definitely follow up.
And I think people shouldn't be afraid of no, because just typing that note to her, I was very nervous. But I think it's okay for someone to say no. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen? They say no and we all move on, and that's completely okay. And I get a lot of no's and I get some yeses. So I just want people to know, don't be afraid of getting no's. No's are okay too, because you can always follow up with that person. Like maybe they don't have budget, or, maybe it's just not the right time, but maybe later on it might be the right time. So
yeah, a no is just a not right now. So
mm-hmm.
that's a good
Mm-hmm.
attitude, I think. Okay, that's great. So that was with Beacon, and then you did a really lovely, I think it was more than one video with Michael. So how did that come about?
Well, that's one of the ones where they were watching me, because I was approached right when I was, we haven't talked about, I have a full-time job. We haven't talked about that yet. But right when I started working from home, when COVID started, I guess that was March of 2020, they reached out. And they were like, hey, we have this opportunity. And I was like, what? And they asked me to be a part of their Made by You campaign. And it was amazing. And then, I had to meet with the producer and all that kind of stuff. And so when they came, I was like, how did you guys find me? And they said, one of the ladies said, we follow you on Instagram.
Wow.
And I'm like, what?
Right.
I didn't know that. So, and they don't follow with the business name, I think Michaels does follow me, and I think Beacon does follow me, but there are people who also work on those teams that will just follow you under their regular name.
Right.
So.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So good to know. And so, their Made by You campaign was like an advertising campaign featuring makers. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. It's featuring makers. I know they did a spring one, and then I was part of the fall. And so, there was, it was on TV. Like, I'm on a TV commercial.
That is so
amazing.
Cool. Yeah.
And then, it was part of their email. So I was in a lot of their newsletters, and then a lot of their commercials, like on YouTube, and, a few other, I think, not Netflix, but Hulu, I think. I don't know. Anyway, a few of those commercials. And so it was a big deal. And I was very honored that they even reached out and asked me to work with them.
And so what was it like? It was COVID, so that was kind of a really scary time, but did they send a whole crew to your craft room, or what happened?
They did. And so at that time we were like complete quarantine at my house. And I went to my husband. I was like, I really want to do this. And so he said, well, okay, we can make it work. Let's just make sure, they had like a whole COVID protocol. And then if we had any suggestions, they were all for it. They wanted to know if we were comfortable. It was really amazing. And it just made me calm the whole time. And so it was difficult, but I'm like, no, we have to do this, honey. We have to do this.
So did, like, okay, did it take like all day, or did it?
It was like an 8-hour. Mm-hmm. They were here 8 or 9 hours, and then we had pre-meetings before, like the week before we had a pre-meeting here, and an 8-hour, 9-hour where they were here. I mean, I was wearing a microphone. They had like a microphone guy and a camera guy and all this stuff. It was unreal.
Yeah, totally. And I think because people see this like, 30-second, 60-second ad spot or whatever it is, and they don't realize that was like 8 hours of footage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
fun though. So
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. And so you have this incredible craft room. I mean, it is like a to die for craft room that you have. And I just look at it and I'm like looking at my room like, okay, I need to make some upgrades here. But so tell us a little bit about like your craft room, what's in it, how
Mhm.
you kind of thought about designing it and what you love about it. Because I know people when they see it are going to be like, oh, that's so incredible.
I think the backstory is amazing because we lived in a house for 15 years and my craft room was my bedroom. And so I remember every day, like during the week, my husband would come to bed at 10 o'clock. Like that was his bedtime. And so like all my projects were laid all over the floor in bed. And I always had to have his bed cleaned off, his part of the bed cleaned off by 10 o'clock every day. And I had to put my things away, and there was storage under the bed, and there was just stuff everywhere, right? And our house was pretty small, and then we decided we wanted to move to because Tisa's storage was everywhere. And so when we built this home, I thought that this space, which is the formal dining room, was going to be my husband's TV room. And he goes, no, 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 I think this should be your craft room. And I'm like, what? My craft room? And he was like, yeah, do whatever you want. And so I told the builder, I want to push out that wall and I want to out these doors. And so he was like, okay. I'm like, okay. So that was really nice that he just knew that it was going to continue to grow and I was going to need more room. I didn't even see that at the time. And then when we first moved in, he gave me a budget. It was pretty small, $800, and he goes, this is your budget to start whatever you need in your craft room. And so the first thing I bought was I went to IKEA and I bought kind of not their low end bookcases, but it's probably their higher end bookcases. And I just start adding them against the wall. And that was the first thing I bought. And then I have this huge table. It's a dining room table and it fits like 8 people. And I got it from World Market. Every time I buy for the craft room, I'm on a budget, right? And so I knew that this table had been 50% off at one point. And I was like, I can't pay full price for that. There's no way it's going to go 50% off. And so months went by and it finally went back to 50% off. And I was like, I am getting that table. And that's how I was able to get the table. So what we do is like, I just keep having these budgets and I just make the budgets work. And so then, I'll make more money and I'll set another little budget and then I'll buy something else. And so I think the important thing about the craft room is that I do a lot of DIY in here, but I'm looking around as I'm talking. I purge a lot. I purge probably every 4 months. I'll go through things and I will get rid of things that I'm currently not using or I don't think I'm going to use anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important because I feel like with crafts, you can have so much stuff.
Yes.
Now, there has been times where I'm like, where is that yellow fabric? And I'm like, oh yeah, I gave it to Goodwill.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, why did I do that?
Yeah. But it just keeps it nice and organized. Like inside the drawers, even on the little Michael's video, it says everything looks organized, but if you open the drawers, it's not all that organized. So if you open the drawers, I do try to keep it organized, but it's not always organized. But
right.
It looks pretty.
Yeah. I think that's a great tip as far as like de-accessioning stuff that you're not going to use and you don't need to hang on to forever. Pass it along to somebody else. And then, you feel more productive because your space is neat and tidy and you can access everything and it's not just piles and piles of supplies.
Yeah. I think a clean craft room, it doesn't have to be clean. It just needs to, everything to me, I feel like everything needs to have a space. I think if it's that way, I'm more creative that way. So.
Yeah, that's totally true. And you mentioned earlier that you do still have a full-time job. So can you talk a little bit about that and how you're balancing this job with that one?
I do have a full-time job. It's 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. And there's not like, I'm very lucky that I'm able to for the most part, I keep the job into the 8 to 5 time slot. If I do have to, work extra, I will, that's not a big deal, but it's not too often that I have to. And so what I do is I take a lot of I get creative with my time. So in the mornings, if I need to pack orders, I will, wake up a little bit early and pack orders. I will if I miss the cutoff for package pickup, I will take my lunch and go to the post office and drop off boxes. And I do stop at 5, but I take a break from 5 to 7. Like I watch nightly news and I like cook dinner. And then at 7, usually 7:30, I'm back in the craft room. And then I will do videos or take photos. But now that I have great lighting and I can do photos at night, that's what I do. But it is better to take photos in the daytime, but I just can't do that, with my 8 to 5 job.
Right. And what is your lighting setup like?
So it's just 2 huge box, the box lighting.
Okay.
And it gets put away every time I don't use it because I'm like, it doesn't go with any, I can't just leave that stuff out. And so I will pull them out. And a lot of times I will take pictures on the weekends and that way I can get that great lighting or videos. But I can also edit that and make things look brighter instead of so gray. So the lighting does well. I use my ring light a lot. I just try to get it in where I can get it in and just do the best that I can. I have to be gentle with myself because I'm not a full-time crafter. So
Right. No, and I think a lot of people are not, and they're doing both of these things at the same time, which gets a little bit more challenging when it becomes a business. But so what are you've talked a bunch of times about shipping orders. What are the products that you're making and shipping?
So I still sell on Etsy, and I sell like what do I sell? Stationery, notepads, journals. I do a lot of vinyl cups, like personalized vinyl cups. My favorite thing that I sell are clipboards, and they're round clipboards. And people always say, "Why do you have a round clipboard?" And I'm like, "Why not? Why can't we have a round clipboard?" And people are like, "So does it come with round paper?" And I'm like, "No, it doesn't come with round paper, but I do have a vendor that will cut all of our paper there's paper that we also sell with a clipboard that, it's custom cut to fit our clipboard." So anyway, it's fun. It's happy. It's colorful. It makes your day brighter. All of our products. If you wanted to know, my number one seller right now is these pens. I put together this set of 8 of pens, and I don't hand make the pens or anything like that, but I came up with like cute little names for them and put it in cute packaging, and people just love these pens and they write amazing. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like supplies and customized products. That are sort of fitting with your aesthetic, basically. Yeah, totally. Yeah. And then you also do some teaching. I know you have like a teaching arm of your business called Confetti University. So, how does that look? What do you do for teaching?
So Confetti University is it's like a virtual craft class. And before COVID, I used to teach hand making cards a long time ago.
Yeah.
And we moved here, and in the space, I can invite a lot of people, like up to 8 people to craft. And so at the beginning of 2020, I think we had 2 classes, and then COVID happened. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not sure what to do. And one of my followers sent me a note and said, you should think about having this virtual. Like, I would love to attend one of your classes, but I live in Florida. And I was like, do you really think people are interested in that? And she goes, I would definitely sign up. And so we tried it one time. I think it was like, oh, Cricut 101, or this is how I use my Cricut. And people signed up. And I was like, what? And so then I thought, like, wonder if people got a box in the mail with all of their supplies. They don't have to go shopping for everything. And so that's what I do. I send them a box in the mail. It has all of their supplies in it for that craft. And then they're able to just pull everything out the box. No shopping, no trying to figure out what size, where to cut, any of that. And we all just sit and we craft together.
That's
and
so
it's awesome.
nice. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it was ideal for COVID times, but I think it's ideal
Mm-hmm.
anytime too. So that was
Mm-hmm.
actually a really nice sort of expansion of your business. That was
Mm-hmm.
maybe due to circumstances that weren't great, but
Yeah.
actually is really great. And so do you use Zoom for that or a different platform?
It's I use Zoom for that, and once you sign up, you'll get the link, and most of them are for pay. I've only done one, I think, that we didn't charge, and it was like, let's address our Christmas cards together and get it done. And they were like, people were like, oh my gosh, yes, all these people signed up. I'm like, you guys just want to sit here and talk to me? And they're like, yes, I'm like, absolutely, let's do it.
That's so nice. That's a
So
great idea
yeah.
too. It's like something, it's like a task you don't want to do, but then if you do it with other people,
hmm
it just feels much more fun.
Yes, yes.
That's great. Super cool. So, I know you have two kids. Are they crafty as well?
Oh, so my kids are they are both in college and they are both uh taking creative classes. So I do have creative kids, but they're a little bit different. One's in graphic design and the other one is in fashion design.
Oh, well, that's
So
super creative. Those are two
hmm
very creative
it's
careers.
different, but it's still creative. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you do creative things with them when they were growing up?
I think at that time they were just so small. I didn't like, maybe I would have extra paper and let my daughter sit there and make things while I'm, putting or whatever, but never really like a whole bunch of, crafty things with them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Yeah, that's funny. It's amazing how they went on to do such creative things, sort of just like you. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
really
you should
cool.
hear me. I'm like, who knows InDesign? Can someone answer this question?
Yeah, totally. That's
And
very
they're like, they're
helpful.
so sick of me.
And I wonder if you have any sort of goals for the future, kind of for your business coming up now that we're kind of coming out of COVID and things are starting to return somewhat to normal, at least. What are your sort of goals coming up for the next year or two?
Um, I want to grow, like, I really, really want to grow my workshops. I think Confetti University is just starting, and I think it could be much bigger than what it is. And I have goals for that. I don't want to say too much, but I really want to do something with that. I'm very excited. And then, just keep just blogging and not entertaining, but teaching people to be crafty, and that's my goal. As far as my business, I am going to hire a virtual assistant, and I'm also going to hire someone to come in house. Now that COVID's dying down, it's time to, help me package orders or, package product or whatever
Mm-hmm.
here. And so I think that's going to open up some time for me to, come up with new products and things like that. So small steps, but small steps, small goals, but they're all goals. So
Yeah, that's great. Those sound like great next steps. So I want to make sure we get to your recommendations, if that's okay with you. Okay. So one of the things that you wanted to recommend to other creative people were DIY magazines. And I wondered if you have a few favorites that you always look forward to getting.
Oh yeah. So like right now, right next to me is this HGTV magazine, and every time I get a little chance, it's the June 2021, and it just has this confetti paint job on the front. And I saw it at the store. I'm like, you have to get that. Like I don't even know what's on the inside, but we just love this cover. And it just it I don't know, it gives me some inspiration, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the DIY magazine is amazing. Anything home and garden is amazing also. So yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I feel like the thing with magazines that's a little bit different from like Pinterest,
Mhm,
for example, is like you go
mhm.
back to those same images so many
Yes,
times and like
yes.
just stare at them and think about them and, your favorite ones. And they really
Hmm.
embed in your mind, I feel like, because they're
Hmm.
from a print publication in a way that's
Yes.
a little bit different from a digital image.
Yeah. And I think like I'm like flipping through it right now. And it's like Like I love like just even like if you look at a page and you're like, oh my gosh, I love those colors. I could put that on a card. And this is just a patio, right? Or like looking at the fonts and they put fonts together in ways I would have never thought to put fonts together. And so I do like get a lot of inspiration from those magazines. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. And then you also have been enjoying, and this is probably with Beacon Adhesive, but blinging all the things. I've been watching you do
oh
these
my
projects.
gosh.
Yeah, like covering
It's
things in rhinestones.
a horrible addiction, but um I can't say that I haven't struggled through COVID. COVID was really stressful for me. I really, really stressful. But I started blinging. So in some days I didn't even want to craft, right? But I felt like if I pulled out those rhinestones and I just start putting rhinestones on stuff, like it just calms me. And there's just this, you're thinking about it, but you're really not thinking about it. And your brain's just not firing all these ideas. It's just this calmness of just making something that's already beautiful more beautiful with rhinestones, right? And so right now I'm working on a gumball machine. It's crazy. I cannot believe I'm covering a gumball machine with rhinestones, but it's so beautiful.
Wow. Is it like a big, like a full size, like the
No,
regular?
well, I have a full size gumball machine that I took apart. It was red. I spray painted it teal, put all the gumballs in there, but this one's a little bit smaller. And so, yeah, I'm looking at it right now and I still have like one more panel to finish. And it just brings this calmness to me.
Yeah.
And I just love it. And then just, figuring out that some of the Beacon adhesives work with rhinestones. I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So, they've allowed me to do a couple of projects with rhinestones and it's just something I just love doing right now. So.
Yeah, totally. I think a lot of people, myself included, can really relate to that sort of methodical,
Mm-hmm.
repetitive
Mm-hmm.
aspect of craft. And I like how you
Mm-hmm.
describe it as like you're still thinking about what's wrong in the world, but you're also
Yeah.
not thinking about it. And it just brings you that inner calm. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah.
Totally. And then the last thing you wanted to recommend, and it sounds like you're really good at this, is organization, just sort of going through and organizing.
Oh my gosh. I never thought I would be this person. But my house is truly organized. Like my house before was just not. And I think because everything didn't have a space. So like my mom, she would be like, I wanted to buy you this new mini appliance for your kitchen. And I'm like, give me the dimensions. I need to see if it has a place. Like we cannot bring things in the house that have to sit out on the counter. And she thinks I'm crazy. I'm like, no, 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 no. It has to have a place. Like I cannot. I just don't want things just sitting everywhere. And so almost everything in my house has a space, a space. And so, and I just, I have a person who comes in to help me clean and her job is to clean and my job is to keep everything organized. So when she comes in, it's not a big mess for her.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think having her, it really helps me keep everything in line because I know she's coming. So I better get it back together if it's not in order. And so it's just made my life like, I feel like when things are in order, my brain is just calm and my day just goes better. And
Mm-hmm.
so, but before I was never this person. I don't know what happened,
Well,
but I love it.
I've been introduced recently to this idea of organization as self-care, which is a very
Mhm.
interesting combo. But, it is possible when you're feeling stressed or just, sort of restless that you can go open any drawer. Like
Mhm.
your sock drawer or
Yep.
your daughter's t-shirt drawer or whatever it might be, and just empty everything out of there and then fold everything up
Yep.
nicely and put it all back. And in
Yep.
all honesty, you shut the drawer and you're like, I did something.
Yep.
I feel better.
And then you're like, oh, it's organized. I can find things. Like I just love it, love it, love it. My pantry's organized. I'm trying to get my refrigerator to be organized, but I don't want to put all those bins in there.
I
But
know. Yeah, I have that
I'm
problem
trying.
too. Yeah, yeah. No, I think that there's a lot of truth to that. So, yeah, that's awesome. Well, Tisa, this has been great. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on the Craft Industry Alliance podcast.
Thank you. This has been so fun. Thank you so much.
And you've been listening to the Craft Industry Alliance podcast. I'm Abby Glassenberg. Today's episode was sponsored by Craftsy. Whether you're new to making or looking to advance skills in a favorite hobby, Craftsy is the place to learn. With over 1,500 classes, there's something for everyone, from knitting and sewing to baking and cooking, gardening, embroidery, quilting, and more. Visit CraftsyOffers.com today and get a full year of Craftsy premium membership for just $3. That's 97% off the regular price. Start turning ideas into projects you can be proud of. Thank you so much, Craftsy. Craft Industry Alliance is a community for craft professionals. When you become a member of Craft Industry Alliance, you get in-depth coverage of craft industry news, the opportunity to connect with fellow professionals for advice and support, and access to an educational library filled with ideas, tools, and resources to help you as you build your business. Join us at craftindustrｙalliance.org. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.